We're going to start with Mitch in Dayton, who is dealing with sleep paralysis and people telling you it's a sign from God. You're on with Tracie and Don.
Hey, Don. Hey, Tracie.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard Tracie once talk about sleep paralysis, and I was wondering, do you still get it, or?
Pretty rarely. I never got it really often, but I do get it sometimes. I don't get visual hallucinations. I get auditory, and nobody ever tried to tell me it was God. So that's a different context altogether.
Well, unfortunately for me, that's what they tell me.
Sure.
Well, what I suggest that you do is you educate yourself about it, and these armchair interpretations are not that helpful generally, and put them in their place. It's like maybe they're well-meaning, maybe these folks are trying to help you, but I know I've been through an experience recently where my partner had cancer, and there's a lot of wackadoodle cancer cures that people will suggest, and you have to take them with a grain of salt, and maybe these folks are well-meaning. Maybe they intend that they're trying to help you, and if it's helpful, that's great. If it's not helpful, then thank them and move on. That would be my suggestion for how to deal with these sorts of folks. Because the sleep paralysis is a real thing, and a lot of people are affected by it various ways, and it can be pretty scary. I think it's more scary if you don't understand it, right, than if you do.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it when the mind is still awake, but the body isn't?
Right.
Yeah, you're still dreaming.
Yeah, it's a quasi-conscious state, from what I understand.
You're laying there paralyzed and dreaming, and you're conscious of the fact that you're laying there paralyzed and dreaming.
Right.
And you see things.
And you can't, and your body isn't working. Right,
and for whatever reason, generally everyone has a bad trip. Right? It's like there isn't like a huge body of people who are like, I love sleep paralysis. I have the best of dreams. It's always like these horrific, like horrifying nightmares. I think it's just, they say that it's probably just a stress reaction from the brain, that when you realize you're paralyzed, you get distressed, and then your worst fears start eking into the nightmares. Because you're just, what if this happened and I can't move? Right? Nobody ever thinks I'm paralyzed. I could just relax and enjoy this. I mean, I do now.
Right.
But it's hard to get to that point because you
can get to the point where it's like, okay, this is what's going on. I'm not going to, I'll be fine.
I'll wake up eventually.
Good. Yeah. This has happened before. Yeah.
So every time before I go to sleep, I leave the lights on for some reason.
You like to sleep with the lights on?
Well, just in case my brain starts wandering again.
Okay. I mean, if it helps.
Crazy.
If it helps, then it helps.
Is this something that's bothering you a lot?
Well, I don't know. I don't, do you guys want to know how long I've been an atheist for?
Well, no, I'm just wondering, like, are you having, I think what Don's getting at is, like, is this causing you problems? Are you having, like, frequent events?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to maybe go to a sleep clinic and see what they think? Do you have one? I mean, Dayton's not a small town. So I would say maybe see if there's like a sleep clinic near you, if you have like health insurance, if it's covered. I mean, if you're starting to have a lot, I mean, it's not a pleasant experience.
I take melatonin, and that helps a little bit.
I love melatonin.
Well, what we're getting at is if this is something that is harming you or causing you trouble, maybe you should go see a doctor about it. And there are specialists that really know this stuff.
Yeah.
I've been talking to a therapist, and that does help a little bit.
Do what now?
I see a therapist, and that helps out a little bit.
Well, but I mean, if you this is a condition, like a sleep issue. This is a what do you call it? Like a
go to the right kind of doctor.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to a sleep clinic and they can help you out with this. It's almost like, obviously it's kind of like the opposite of sleepwalking, right? Like instead of getting up and wandering around while you're sleeping, you're actually awake and paralyzed and sleeping. And so if it's distressing you and it's happening frequently, I mean, it is annoying if nothing else, right? Even if it's not terrifying, it's still annoying to be laying there saying, like, I would really like to get up and like be able to go do something in this because I'm awake, but I'm stuck in this bed and I can't move and I can't talk and I can't, I'm sitting here. So it can be kind of an annoyance, even if nothing else. But if you're having like distressful, for example, visions or auditory things that are bothersome, that can be especially terrifying. And so I think that maybe getting in touch with a sleep clinic might not be a bad idea. If, like I say, if you're having a lot of events. I know that when you mentioned melatonin, and I know that for me, when I take melatonin, my dreams are super vivid, right? So I go into a really deep sleep and I have these wildly vivid dreams. And so I don't know if you're saying when you said it helped, I don't know if you mean that it helps you not have the paralysis. I would be kind of concerned that you would have the paralysis. What now?
It helps me. It helps me just put me to sleep.
Do you get paralysis as you're falling asleep or as you're waking up?
As I'm waking up, usually.
Okay, because I was like, I don't usually get it when I'm falling asleep. So the melatonin helps you sleep better. Are you having sleep issues generally? Now, just to kind of say, I'd have to check on this because it's been a while since I've researched it. But my understanding of melatonin is that you're supposed to take it for like a 1 week clip and then stop, right? Like you're not supposed to continue taking it all the time, is my understanding. Again, I would take that with a grain of salt. If people are hearing me say it, please go and check it and make sure that's still the prevailing
I don't
view
know.
of it.
I don't know.
Well, it can. What I remember hearing is that it can cause problems with your natural production of melatonin if you keep taking it. Like your brain detects it and then it stops.
I wouldn't be surprised if that were true.
So be careful when you take that you're just taking it like at a week, but a week or so. And again, check and make sure that I'm still right on that. But also, like I said, you want to get it, I think, with a sleep clinic if you're having issues with this.
Well, and let me amplify that a little bit. The sleep is very important for your physical and mental health, and treat this as a health issue.
We didn't have it.
Right? Don't treat this as a a game or something to try to self-medicate. Go get some help with this with the right folks. This is pretty important.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question to Don real quick?
Yeah,
Sure.
do.
Hey, since I'm an atheist, Don, and there's a lot of atheists who, because evolution is a scientific fact, right? And there's some atheists who
Species do change over time, yes, and there's certainly lots of evidence for the theory of evolution, but evolution basically just refers to the change of genes over time.
Over time,
right? And that is a fact.
There's some atheists out there who think we come from aliens.
There are atheists that disagree with that, or
they think we were seeded by aliens. He's right. There are people that think that.
Well, there's a lot of crazy beliefs out there. Just because you're an atheist doesn't necessarily mean you have all the right answers. Atheism really is just about the God question, and a lot of the folks in our group here and on our shows and such are skeptics as a rule, and try to believe as many true things as possible, and disbelieve as many false things as possible. But that's a process, and that's not something we're all perfect at.
But Mitch has a question for you.
Okay. Was that your question or no?
That was my question.
It was?
Okay.
That was my question.
Okay.
Okay. Well, did I answer it?
I've been a big fan of the show. Been a big fan of the show for about a month, and I was going to call last week when Matt was on, but Matt kind of scares me a little bit, so.
He scares me too. But he's a teddy bear.
He's not scary.
Okay.